some reason you're not. Okay. That's another thing too, to let you folks know that we are recording all of our lay making workshops. So we're assuming that being present today gives us permission to record this session with you guys.
And we will send you folks afterwards. We'll send the recordings to all of you afterwards as well, in case you need them.
Yep. So all of our lay making workshops will be available for you folks after we call. What else? Kim will do a few icebreakers with us just so we can get to know each other a little bit better. Amber is going to, Kim will also be providing some background in regards to Rapid Ohia death and what we do. And then Amber is going to talk a little bit about why Ohia free. And then we'll have some polling questions for you folks. So as we kind of move into everything, I'm going to transition over to Kim, and she's going to start giving you the background of what Rapid Ohia death is, some things that we can do as Ohia stewards, and then yeah, thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Hoku, and welcome to the team. Last year when we did these lay making workshops, you had not joined us yet, so welcome. I see a few returning faces from last year when we did this. I also see some new people, so that's fantastic. Let's get to know each other a little bit. If you would, in the chat box, and make sure we're all conversant with the chat box, drop in where you're joining us from. Either your town, your island, your moku, your ahupua'a, your moana, whatever you feel closely connected to today, drop that in the chat. Let's see who we have with us today. And I'm gonna drop in, I'm in Anahola on Kauai. We've got Upcountry Maui, Kalaheo, Kauai, Pearl City, Manoa, Kaimuki, fantastic. Oh,
Makiki.
Present from my dreams, that's great. Hilo, Makiki, Kailua, great. Keikaha, yay.
Yeah.
So now if you would, drop in the chat one item that you feel a connection to, perhaps, that you're going to be using in your lay making today. You know, one plant, one flower, just one thing that's on your tray in front of you, because, you know, we'd love to all see, and that will help give others ideas as well. Ali'i, nice. Sandalwood, hina hina. Oh yeah, Spanish moss. That would be good to use.
Ooh, mint.
Mint.
Samaria, ginger.
Croton, yes. I'm using croton today too to add a little bit of color. Yeah. I have kupu kupu fern as well.
Ooh.
And it looked, I think I saw, when I'm gonna scroll back up, I think I saw, yes, we have somebody from Wisconsin.
Hi, I saw that too.
Hey, Kolomaisu, welcome.
I have family in Wisconsin.
Had to point that out. Stephanotis, aw, beautiful, Belle. Moa, Red Ginger, Song of India. I have Song of India as well. So these are great ideas. If you are not using these might give you some ideas of things to use in the future. So that's our little icebreaker. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about Ohia and Rapid Ohia death. While you continue to clean your materials, I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully give me a thumbs up, Hoku or Amber, if you can see this. Fantastic. So welcome to our Ohia free lay making workshops for everybody, beginners and experienced lay makers alike. We have one scheduled for today, next Friday, and then the Friday the 28th. So there's many opportunities you can join us and make more lay. Now, whenever we talk about Rapid Ohia death, the first thing we need to do is share that there are a whole lot of people working on this disease in research, in outreach, in management. And here's just a list of a few of them, both government organizations, non-government organizations, and nonprofits. Ohia is our most abundant tree in our native forest. So to receive this kind of attention really says something. It really tells us how important this tree is to not only our forests, but our everyday well-being and health. And in order to talk about this disease, rapid Ohia death, we first have to talk about Ohia and why it's so special and important. First of all, it's endemic to Hawaii, meaning found here in Hawaii and nowhere else in the world. At one time on all of our islands, it basically grew Mauka to Makai. On some of our islands these days, we may only think of it as a forest tree. However, it is highly adaptable, highly variable. It can grow at all elevations from coastline to forest and in all environments. So it is known as one of the first plants to start growing after a fresh lava flow, where obviously there would be no shade and just direct sun. And it can grow up at high elevations in our rainforests. So it's very adaptable. It can grow from a shrub in some of our bog environments to a tall canopy tree up in our rainforests. And like I mentioned, from coast up to 900 feet elevation, it's known as a keystone species. And by that we mean there are a whole host of other flora and fauna that rely on Ohia for some form of their life history requirements. I like to talk about Ohia as the tree of life and kind of on three basic principles. One, its importance to our watershed. Two, its importance to our ecosystem and those other flora and fauna. And three, its importance to our host culture here in Hawaii. So briefly, if you look at this rainforest photo, you can tell that Ohia is here, and one of the efforts that Ohia does and provides for us in the rainforest is it helps pull and collect moisture from the air. And a healthy Ohia forest will look like this, where there's canopy trees, understory, as well as lots of ground cover. So think lichen, mosses, and ferns. All of that serves as a sponge. Our forest, a healthy Ohia forest, serves as a sponge to pull moisture from the air and hold it in place to hopefully prevent any kind of erosion downstream. So watershed, pulling that moisture from the air, filling our aquifers, and providing us, with the water that we drink every day. Second kind of cornerstone, if you will, is its work as a keystone species. So these are many endemic, some many endangered species, flora and fauna. Most people, or a lot of times we often think of just forest birds, but there's butterflies, there's dragonflies, there's a bunch of insects, there's spiders, there's land snails, there's seabirds up in our forests and our mountains too, that all rely on Ohia. And if Ohia were to go away, there would be drastic consequences for these other species that rely on Ohia. I also mentioned that Ohia is super important to the Hawaiian culture. There's all kinds of music, hula, and chant devoted to Ohia lehua. The wood itself, a couple hundred years ago, was used to build hale, va'a, canoes, and heiau. It was also used to be carved into ki'i, or figurines. And the first warriors into battle were often known as lehua, which you can deduce from that as meaning that they were strong and powerful, which is also a characteristic of Ohia wood. So that brings me now into giving you a little background about Ohia, why it's important, why we should care about whether it is here in our environment or not. And I want to talk about this threat known as rapid Ohia death. And it is best illustrated by this photo that was taken on Hawaii Island of this healthy Ohia forest in the Puna district. And a short 10 years later, this is what that same stand of trees looks like today. Now, pretty sad, I realize that. And I also want to put a big asterisk behind these photos to say, this is the extreme, right? This is pretty dramatic. Not what we have found is that rapid Ohia death impacts forests differently across the islands, differently across elevation, differently across climate. This happens to be the extreme. So the worst case example. There are places where we have rapid Ohia death that may have only impacted 10% of the Ohia trees in the forest. So, but that's a pretty good wake-up call, quite honestly. But what is rapid Ohia death? Well, first of all, it's a fungus, okay? It's a fungal pathogen. that you don't see on the exterior of the tree. You don't see it growing on the leaf, the flower, the bark. It grows on the interior of the tree in what's known as the vascular system. I like to think of the vascular system as the plumbing system of the tree. This is where water and nutrients flow up and down. And the fungus grows in that plumbing system and basically clogs it, prevents the flow of water. So one of the very first physical characteristics we will see of a tree that might be dying of rot is that the leaves of the tree will turn this reddish brown color, bright red, and then dark brown. And if the tree has been infected with Ceratocystis leuco-Ohia, which is the pathogen, the tree can die within a matter of weeks to months. At this point in time, there is no known cure, unfortunately. So how does a tree get infected? Basically, it's known as a wound pathology. So a tree needs to have an opening in the bark, whether that was a tree branch that was cut off or broken off in high wind events. But we can have trees side by side, one healthy, like we show on this photo, and then one to the side of it that has died of the disease. Now, we don't know for sure that this tree on the left is healthy and has not contracted the disease yet. It may be infected, but it's not showing the visual symptoms yet. And again, the visual symptoms are the sudden browning of the tree's entire canopy of leaves. So that's in a nutshell what rapid Ohia death is. How does it spread? This is something to be aware of because this is where we can step in and help. It's a tricky fungal pathogen, I have to say, because it can move in the wind naturally, right? There's not much we can do about that. But humans can also move it around the island. And at its simplest, the way that happens is once a tree dies of rapid Ohia death, beetles, which are decomposers in the forest, the work that they do is they decompose dead and dying plant matter. So when they smell a dead and dying Ohia tree, beetles, and they come from this family known as ambrosia beetles, and they're super, super tiny. We like to compare them to the size of the president's ear on a coin on a dime. Okay, so they're super tiny, almost impossible to see. They burrow into the tree where the fungus grows. And while they're burrowing in, they kick out something that's known as frass. That's F-R-A-S-S, rhymes with grass. And it looks like a sawdust material. And in that sawdust, the fungal pathogen, the microscopic fungal pathogen, can move around. And that's how it escapes into the environment. So the beetles burrow in, the frass gets released, the fungal pathogen gets released into the environment to then get blown in the wind to maybe infect a nearby tree that has a wound, or it can drop to the ground in the mud and we can move it around the island, or animals potentially could move it around the island. So what can we do? We basically have 5 things. I'm going to go through them really quickly. Avoid injuring Ohia. So if you're out in the forest hiking, try not to scuff up the roots of Ohia. Try not to blaze trails using Ohia. Don't break branches as you're walking around. Also, the second thing would be not to move Ohia wood around the island or from island to island. And that also means the soil that might be surrounding an Ohia tree. And then also clean your gear, your tools, your shoes, and your clothes. And it's a 2-step process that we recommend. Leave as much mud where you found it as possible. So use a boot brush on your boots or use a high pressure washer for your trucks. Get as much mud off as possible. And then the second step, especially like on your clothes or footwear, is to spray with isopropyl rubbing alcohol, because it's the rubbing alcohol that's going to kill the fungal spore. And lastly is wash your vehicle, which I've also mentioned. But the other thing you can do to help us is to report any trees that you see that maybe one week when you were out by them looked perfectly healthy, and the next week all of a sudden have the reddish brown colored leaves. So you guys, are our eyes on the forest or our eyes in the environment as well. So we can definitely use your help in reporting any suspect trees. So that was a lot. I'm going to stop sharing and turn things back over to Amber to get started doing the fun stuff that we're here for.
Great. Just really quickly before we get through that, we have a fun little poll to make sure all of you are listening. So I'm going to pull up the poll, and you folks can go ahead and click on one or all or any that you would like on why is Ohia important? So is it the most abundant tree in the forest? Is it endemic to Hawaii? Critical to maintaining healthy watersheds? Provide food and shelter? Highly respected by Hawaiian culture, or none of the above? So I am going to do this, and as you folks click on that, we're going to be able to see the answers come in and roll through. So you can read through them and click on all the ones you feel is necessary or not. And then I think you folks can probably see my screen as we're doing it. You can see, yes, a lot of good answers to it. We'll give a few more seconds to let some people chime in. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's end it and share our results. So essentially, none of this was wrong. Everything besides the none of the above, actually, that one would have been wrong. So nobody chose that, which is good. So that's good. You could have answered any of these questions up here. These are all these answers up here is what makes Ohia important. So, you know, it can provide food and shelter. It's highly respected by the Hawaiian culture. It's critical for our watershed, for watershed management. It's endemic to Hawaii, meaning found here and only here in Hawaii. And it is our most abundant tree in the forest. So I'm going to go to our next poll really quickly and pull up the second one. So how can we help save Ohia? So read through these, and I think it's, you could choose what you want, but hopefully you folks know the answer to this one. I think we just went through these, and nothing is wrong in answers. You're not getting graded on this or anything, just putting it out there. You're not going to get graded, so don't worry. And we cannot see who answered what, so it's okay. You feel free to answer anything that you'd like. So I'm going to give it just a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and let's share our results. So essentially, yes, how can we help Ohia? We can do any one of these above mentioned things, whether we avoid injury in Ohia, we don't want to move it throughout the islands or intra-island or inter-island. We don't want to move the wood or the plant parts. We would like to clean all of our gear and tools and wash our vehicles. And I think there was one more thing Kim mentioned where we could help to save Ohia. And I don't know if anyone wants to write that in the chat box. I think she said that, well, there's many things we can do to help them in addition to this, but I think she did mention one more thing that we could do. We could get involved in legislative actions. We could continue to plant Ohia in our backyards or at our schools or office buildings. There's so many things that we can do to help save this species. So thank you for participating in our little polls. And with that, we are going to get started on our lei making session. So this is going to be the fun part. Okay, so I think when all of you, it looks like since you've already chimed in, you all have mentioned, I have looked at what is required here. You may use a scissors. I don't know if you're going to use one, or a chip clip. And we may need a water bottle, or you can get that later. But what we're going to get started with, before I get my raffia out, is I was going to share. Kim, would you mind highlighting my hands? The hand. So I was going to share on my tray here. I think she's going to try and highlight that.
I'll pin it.
Or pin it. So on my tray here, this is how I set it up. You don't have to set up your trays like this. I have it on a tray. It's just easier because I have a small little desk. And so here I just have some crown flower and some lilies and some ferns and Spanish moss and some tea leaves. So it's a little bit difficult to see. Let me move it this way. And I like to bundle them in little patches like this and little bundles to make it easier to view for me. So what we're going to do to get started is we're going to get 3 pieces of raffia, whether you're using raffia or jute or shoelaces or anything like that. We're going to grab 3 pieces, okay? And you want to grab 3 long pieces. Yes.
We can't see your hands on the close-up one. Do you want it pinned at this point?
Oh, sorry, wrong. I'm going to pull this up for 1 sec. Yeah, no, yeah, you can pin it because I'm about to get started on that. So I was just going to show up on this camera first. So you want 3 pieces of your raffia or string or shoelaces or whatever you're going to use today to wrap. And you kind of want them to be fairly long. Here, this looks like it's a good, 2 feet or so. So what you want to do, you're going to gather them all at the top and you're going to tie a knot. Give yourself a good 6 to 8 inches worth before you tie your knot. So I'm going to give myself about this much, and you give yourself this much because this is what you're going to use to tie, whether you tie it in your hair or whether you tie it on your wrist. Today, what we're going to be getting you folks, the length that we're going to have you folks do is what's called a coupe length, meaning it's a wristlet or an anklet, or it could go on your hair. So it's not going to necessarily be the full l'épaule that you would see. You can make that. You're just going to have to continue to make that. So essentially, I'm going to tie my knot and I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to tie a knot here. So I tied a knot and I gave myself a good, 6 inches or so to the top. So my knot is here where my hand is, and you would give about 6 inches. Okay. So what you're going to do to measure and make sure it's long enough, you can measure your wrist, and which I know it's long enough, or if you want to make one for your head, you're going to measure your head. Okay. So it's up to you whether you want to make one for your head or your wrist or your hair. I'm going to put mine in my hair, so I'm only going to do a short one that's only going to be about this long. It's up to you, however long you want to make it. Okay, so did everyone get to this part yet? Making that knot in their raffia? Okay, so now comes design. And when you're making lei, you want to kind of take a look at what you have on your plate or what you have available, and you want to think of a design in your head. So for me, I like to start off with ferns or tea leaf or something green as fillers, unless you have a lot of flowers, for example. Some people want to make primarily flowers in their l'épaules. You can start off with a flower. I like to do greenery because wherever your knot is, where we're going to start, that's going to be where you tie it. So I'm going to tie it on my hair, or say I tie it on my head to make it easier for you to see. All the way in the back where that knot is going to be, no one's really going to see. I mean, you're not going to see that. You kind of want the middle part of it to have most of your flowers on it if you're going to put flowers on it. Okay. So I like to start off with greenery. You don't have to. You can start off with a flower if you want to. And now I'm going to, if you can highlight my fingers. Okay, so I'm going to start off. You can either start off with just, if you want a skinny one, I would suggest just doing one like this. I'm going to do 2. So I'm going to do 2 ferns. And I'm going to place the ferns right on the knot. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to use one of the 3. Before I get started, I'm sorry, I didn't explain this part. Of the 3, 2 of them are going to be your backbone, and 1 of them is going to serve as your wrap around. Okay. So gather your 2. That's going to be your backbone. That's going to be the part that all of the flowers are going to be adhered to. And then you're going to have 1 that's going to be used to wrap. Okay. So I'm going to take my 2 leaves and I'm going to show you in this camera. Hopefully it'll see it. I'm going to take my 2 leaves and stagger them a little. And what you're going to do is you're going to take it from the back. You're going to take your piece of raffia from the back and you're going to go over the front.
Amber.
And back around.
Amber.
Yes.
If I could just interrupt you for 1 minute. If everybody could go to their chat box, if you can see your, or excuse me, if you can go to your picture window where it says ask to unmute, you can hit that 3 square icon and click pin. So then you can pin her video.
Does that work for everybody?
I've pinned her.
Can
But
you
it's only pinning to your screen. I had to pin her myself to see her hands.
Can
Okay.
I see the video? Can you see it now?
Then we spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can spotlight maybe.
Can you guys give me a heads up if that hands up? Is that good? Can you see it now? Okay, perfect.
Okay, yep, Ed can see it.
Okay, so now I'm gonna take my 2 pieces. Okay, and I'm gonna place it right over the knot. Okay, and with my wrapper, right, this is gonna, the pieces, the long pieces that you have is going to stick to the backbone, to those 2. Okay, the 3rd piece is going to be your wrapping piece. Okay, so you're going to go from the back over the front to the back again once, kind of cinch it tight. Okay, and you're going to go over one more time from the back to the front and cinch it down good on the 2nd try. Okay, so I'm gonna do another example. I'm gonna do a tea leaf, for example. Okay, so here you're gonna wrap your leaf a little smaller if you have tea leaf, and you're gonna place it right over that, and you're gonna go from the back to the front and over to cinch it once, from the back over, cinch it twice. Okay, so I'm going to take another fern and I'm going to do it one more time. This time I'm going to take, since these are bushy ferns, I'll take 2 of these ferns. So I'm going to put these 2 ferns and I'm going to wrap from the back over the front to the back once, from the back over the front to the back again twice. And on the 2nd one, you want to cinch it really, so kind of use your finger, use your thumb, and push it while you're cinching it closed. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep explaining it as I go along so you can watch my hands. Okay, so I'm going to do another fern. I'm going to do more ferns if you're using ferns. So I'm going to place my 2 ferns side by side, and I'm going to wrap from the back over to the front and to the back again, and I'm going to cinch it, not super tight, but cinch it tight, and then from the back to the front again, back around to cinch it closed a 2nd time.
Amber, excuse me, I had a question. Will you do the question is, how do you fold the tea leaf piece? And so will you do that one as your next one?
Sure. So the tea leaf piece looks like this. If you got it prepared into little strips like this, I should say, they're little strips. And so what you want to do is you want to look, you have on the tea leaf, you have one shiny side and one dull side. So this is my shiny side facing up. And what you want to do is you want to, I'm going to flip it around and you're going to fold. You're going to fold your piece kind of like a diamond shape. Let me see if I have a better angle. Let's see. So shiny side out, and you're going to fold your piece, or you can roll it in your hands to where you're making it smaller like this. Okay. And you're going to place that on your backbone, and you're going to take it from the back to the front to the back again, and you're going to cinch it closed. Okay. Then
and another question.
Yep, and to the front and to the back again, and you're going to cinch it closed again.
So do you always wrap with the same string?
Yes, you're always wrapping with the same string, Uncle. So that same one. So you have the two of them are going to make your backbone. That's kind of like you're going to put them together as one piece. And that's going to be the backbone for your whole lei. This third piece is going to be your wrapping piece. Okay. Let me make sure the camera's finding that. So this, and you're going to continue to wrap with just this one piece of wrapper. And this one piece of wrapper will eventually run out. It's going to run out after you get towards the end, and we're going to add in another one. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to add in more. Okay, so what you want to do is just continue. So I'm going to continue with my pattern here that I had, which was my ferns. So I'm going to do one more of the ferns before I add in a flower. Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time. You're going to go from the wrap from the back to the front and over, back again, cinch it close, back to the front, to the back again, and cinch it tight the second time. Cinch it really tight. And if your hands are getting sore from holding it so tight, that's going to be a good sign. That's how tight you want to hold it, is where your hands are sore. Because if you don't hold it tight enough, and if you're not cinching it tight enough, it's going to fall apart when you put it in your hair or put it on your head. Okay.
And let's pause, Amber, and just give people an opportunity, because this is the critical part. Like, this is what we're going to be doing time and time and time again. So I want to make sure everybody gets it. So at this point, if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, feel free to do so, because I know it might be tricky to type and make lei at the same time.
And if you want to ask a question, or if you need to get your chip clip and clip it like this. Clip it right on there, and then it'll free your hands so you can type or get a drink or whatever you want to do. And then when you're ready, just unclip it and you're back to good to go. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, I'm going to continue. So now I am going to add in a flower. I'm going to add in one of my lilies that I have. Here, this yellow one, it'll match my dress today. So I'm going to add in one right here, and it's going to be the same thing. You're going to go from the back to the front, over, make sure I don't get my petals, and then from the back to the front, over twice, and cinch it close. So this is going to be my pattern that I'm starting to use. So I use some ferns, and I'm going to use a flower, and then I'm probably going to continue with the ferns again. Okay, so I think I want to add one more flower. So I'm going to add one more flower to double up the flowers here to make it prettier. So I'm going to go from the back to the front, to the back and cinch once, then from the back to the front and cinch twice. Okay. So here's the start of mines. This is what mines will start to look like. And I'm going to build this pattern. And don't worry if at the edges, when you have little pieces like I have here, these pieces of flower of stems, for example, they're just going to sit alongside this, alongside your backbone. So don't worry about trimming them or anything, because don't worry about that. You're going to just go over it. Okay. So I'm going to go back and do my ferns again. I did 2 ferns for the first try. Oh, I just cinched it close. From the back to the front, to the back again, once, twice, then again for the tea leaf, you have one shiny side and one dull side. So you're gonna use the shiny side out, and you're just gonna roll the tea leaf like that. And I'm going to put the tea leaf in here like this and go from the back to the front, back again, cinch, front to the back, and cinch really good on the second try. Okay, again, I'm going to put my ferns, cinch from the back to the front, from the back to the front.
So Amber,
Yes.
how long is your wrapping string?
Okay, my wrapping string is going to run out in a few tries. So my wrapping string is right now is about 15 inches or so. So is anyone running out of wrapping string yet? Yes. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna cut mine to make pretend that mine's ran out too. Okay. So let me just cut it. Okay. So now it's really short. Oh no! What are we gonna do? Oh no! Oh no! Okay. So what you want to do? This is going to be a tricky part. Grab another long raffia. Sorry, my bundle is. Okay, so you're going to grab another piece of raffia. And then this part's going to be a little tricky. So I'm going to show you in the camera. Okay, so I have my short little piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to merge this new piece to the old piece. Okay, and you do that by taking the old piece. And what you're going to do is you're going to wrap it to the front and put your hand on it. And you're going to bring it down to match your backbone. See that? So all I did was it was like this, and I moved it to the front, and I put my thumb there, and I brought it down. I brought it down to match my backbone. Okay, so now you're going to take this new piece that you just got, and you're going to face it downwards, face it in the same direction as that other piece that you just bent down. You're going to place a portion of it down, and you're going to use your thumb to hold it in place. And you're going to pretend that, and not pretend, you're going to hold it down and you're going to wrap. And you want to go a little bit higher on your wrap above it. And this time you're going to wrap up, and this part you want to really squeeze tight, and you want to wrap over the piece that's going down. Okay, so I wish you could see it really fine-tuned like me. So it's like this, and I'm going to wrap over that piece of raffia that went down. I'm going to cinch twice. I'm going to cinch tight on the second one. For me, when I'm merging the two pieces, I like to do 3 wraps. So I merged the second piece, and then I went down over, and I made sure I really got that wrapped over it. And then now you're going to have all these pieces that are going to look junk, and that's okay because you're going to wrap over it. These are going to be facing down, and then you're going to have a new wrapper. Okay, so I want to know, that's a tricky one. So I'm going to wrap again a few times, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to show you guys one more time. Okay, so I'm going to cut my string again to make pretend that it's short again, so I can do it one more time to make sure that you folks have followed. Okay, so pretend this is it again. I'm going to show it one more time. So pretend this was the short string, my short wrapping string. I'm going to bring it to the front underneath my thumb. I'm going to hold my thumb there and bring it down to match my backbone, to match the rest, this strong part. Then I'm going to take this new wrapper, face it in the same direction, just like this, face it in that same direction. Place it under my thumb, and I'm gonna wrap up. So where my thumb is, that's where the merge is gonna be. So what you wanna do is you wanna go up above your thumb a little bit and wrap up there, wrap once, wrap twice. And I like to wrap a third time to make sure I'm really over that merging string. Okay. So now I have a new string, a new short string, because I cut it. So now I have a new string. So don't worry about all of this stuff that's in your hands that looks junk, because you're going to be wrapping over all of this stuff. And at the end, then we're going to be cutting it. Okay.
How about showing to the camera the backside so people can see how the wrap looks on the backside?
So the back of the wrap,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I haven't gotten very far in my lei making. You guys are way farther. I'm already seeing people that are further along than I am. I'm wrapping, I don't know if you can see this very well, but you're kind of wrapping alongside each other, you know, and that's how you know that your wrap is going to be good and it's going to be tight, is if you're wrapping along each other. Don't worry if right now you see holes in it or you see gaps in it. It's okay. From now on, if you just make it a point to make sure that when you're wrapping, you want to make sure you wrap over the wrap, as well as right under the wrap. So you're wrapping so that your back kind of looks like this. It's a little hard to explain. Yeah, so as you're wrapping, so let me add in a piece and I'll show you what I mean. Let's just add in a tea leaf. Do you have any Lowae fern? Yeah, Elizabeth. So Lowae is very fragile. It smells so beautiful. I love using Lowae, and I don't have any Lowae on me right now. I know Hopu does. So what you want to do with the Lowae is pretend this leaf is Lowae, and what you want to do is you're going to squeeze the bottom part of it. It's going to tear. You have to be very careful with Lowae. It's going to tear. So you're going to grab your Lowae, pretend this is your Lowae, and you're going to kind of fold it in, and it's gonna crunch. You're gonna hear it crunching as you wrap. And so when you're wrapping, it might rip and it might crunch, but make sure to wrap up around it. And so like pretend this is the Lowae. I'm gonna wrap up here. It's not Lowae, so it's not ripping, and I think that's what's happening to your ferns. That's why it might be a little hard to use. You just have to be kind of fragile when you're wrapping. You have to wrap tight, but not so tight where it cuts it off and it severs it, which makes, I don't know if that makes any sense, but let's see. Is the wrap traveling? Is the wrap traveling up the backbone, or is it staying at the knot, basically? Kelsey, the wrap is going to start traveling down your backbone. So like this. So my knot is right up here. So my knot is right where my finger just started. And now I'm all the way down here. So it will start to move as you move. And if it's not moving, just keep going. It will move as you go further down and add more and more things. So I'm going to put in 2 more pieces of fern. And I'm going to wrap from the back to the front to the back and wrap it twice. So I'm running out of my wrapper cord, and I'm going to add in another one soon, and I will show you guys one more time how to do that. So when you're wrapping and you're running out of, you want to merge your wraps when you're about 6 inches out from the end. Okay, so I can go a little bit more, maybe 1 more wrap or so. Let's see where I'm at. So I'll just do a tea leaf. Okay, so I'm gonna grab me another piece. So I'm gonna merge the wraps again, the wrapping cord. So what you wanna do again one more time is you're gonna, with this extra tail that's ending, is you're gonna bring it to the front, place it under your thumb, and bend it down to meet your backbone. Okay, so hold your thumb there. And you're gonna take your second wrap, you're gonna face it that same direction, so downwards. And you're gonna place that under your thumb as well, hold it tight, and you're gonna wrap up, above it, back. And I like to go 3 times. So as I'm wrapping over each other, as well as I'm moving down. So it depends on what types of foliage you folks have. Will depend, you know, how thick it is and all of that sort of thing. So it just depends. I'm not sure if anyone's using Spanish moss. If anyone's using that, I can show you how to put that in there. I'm not using it in my pattern, but I'm gonna use it now just to show you how to do it, in case you don't ever do want to put Spanish moss in there. So I'm gonna clip this really quick because I need to get the moss. So with the Spanish moss, you only wanna, so this is my hand, you only wanna do a few little sprigs of it, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna bundle it together like this. And you're gonna pretend it's a leaf. So you're gonna bundle it at the end. And you're just gonna add it in there like that. Just like you would like a flower. And you're gonna add it in. Just like that. Okay. So you don't want to put too much because then it's going to have a lot of hina. You just want to just a few because it goes a long way. The hina, the Spanish moss. If you are using it, it does go a long way. So you don't have to have that much Spanish moss if you plan to use the Spanish moss. So I'm going to continue with mine. Yep, so wrap from the back to the front, to the back again, cinch, then from the back to the front, and cinch again on the second time. Cinch it tight.
Amber, I had to step away for a second, but did you see Ed's question about design?
Yes, can we talk design? Do you stay within a theme or harvest area, coastal, upland, upcountry, forest in your collecting and design? Well, Ed,
Great question.
It's a great question. It all depends, you know, because I just seen one of our good friends here. She just did a lepo'o, or actually a coupe with the length that we're doing now. And she used only limu from the ocean. She used all different types of limu and made a lepo'o out of it. It was really, really beautiful. I wish I could, my camera doesn't work right now because it's zooming in on my hands, but if I could show you, it came out amazing. So you could do something like that. You can go out and pick yourself. Your theme, you kind of, with the theme, Generally, you would like to keep it if you're doing all, say, for example, upcountry or forest type of foliage. You would want to keep it with all of that type of foliage. So in a, say in a forest setting, today we're not using Ohia just because, you know, we don't want to wound the Ohia as we're picking it and things like that. So people would use, in place of it, they would use A'ali, for example. You can find it in the forest or in upcountry. A'ali, you can find a lot of ferns. Pele's hair, just like this, Spanish moss or hina, you can find up there as well. And so I would incorporate that into my design. Some people like, with the coastal shrubs, you have like Akia or Pohinahina, which is stuff like this, which I didn't use today, which I have, but I didn't use it. But this is Pohinahina, this is a coastal plant. And I would use my coastal plants together as well. I'd use Akia, Pohinahina, maybe a few ferns. So I would definitely do that with design, but feel free to mix it up. You know, that's the one part about lei making, that you can even mix it up. Like we've done some lei workshops where some people that were tuning in from the mainland, for example, they didn't have what we have here in Hawaii with all of our foliage. They didn't have all of that. And so they were using fake flowers, or they were using fake materials. And that went really well. That worked out really well for them. We've used fabric and ribbon. For example, I cut ribbon a few times to use ribbon in my design when I wanted a pop of color that I couldn't get by some plants. So I did it that way. So yeah, design is all about, I would suggest looking at other lei makers or other leis online and seeing what sort of plant materials or non-plant materials that they used. I sometimes, depending on what's available, because I like to make leis year-round. I don't only make during the spring or the summertime. So sometimes I actually have to go and purchase flowers, you know, purchase roses or daisies or whatever, and to make lei out of. And so that you can have fun with it as well, you know. So design is all, it's, lei making is an art. It's all, you know, it's all up to you on how you want to design it, really.
You know, this is a good time to talk about the book, Growing Plants for Hawaiian Lei.
Oh, yes.
And let me remove the spotlight off of Amber, and I'm gonna spotlight the book for everybody, and I'll pop the link in the chat. So this is the book that I'm talking about. Growing Plants for Hawaiian Lei, 85 Plants for Gardens, Conservation, and Business. I will find the link for it and pop that in the chat. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take you back to Amber and spotlight her hands for you. There we go.
So if you can imagine, it's just gonna, however long it takes you to do a kupe'e length, or the length that we're doing today, just extrapolate that time into the length if you want to make a full one for your head. So next week's class, I'm probably going to be making a full length one, not for the whole class, but because I have a friend that's graduating, that I'm making her one for graduation next week. So I figured I might as well do it in class if possible. So I'm at my end and I have to add another one. So again, to add in one, what you want to do is you want to take that end piece, that piece that's ending, and you're going to bring it to the front, fold it on, use your thumb as a holder, and you're going to bend it down to meet the rest of your backbone like this. Then take your new wrapping piece, place it in that same direction, and you're going to wrap over that. So you're going to wrap up a little, cinch, you're going to wrap over, and then you're going to wrap down. How is everyone's lays coming out? Is everyone coming out okay?
Would you like to have everybody hold theirs up? I can remove the spotlight and we can do gallery view.
Yeah, let's do a gallery view.
And if everybody would hold their where they are so we can get an idea of how far along you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Up to the camera.
Oh, very nice.
Beautiful. Whoa, Debbie, you're making some progress. Oh, what's your red in there, Julia, AKA Simon?
Oh, and very
I actually don't know what that plant's called. It's this. Can you see it?
Oh yes, it's pretty.
And I've had it in the yard for a long time, but I actually don't know what it is.
And Liz, are you using roses, Liz?
Yes, so pretty.
Gorgeous.
Oh,
Are
look
they
at Mel's there? I like this part, the backyard party people over here. Chelsea.
I love the backyard party. I love it.
Right?
I know.
Then we'll have to do that.
I know. Kelsey, it looks fun. A lei making party. So is everyone getting it? It looks like everyone's getting it. So that's good. Okay, keep going. Keep going. I know your hands might be sore. So if it's sore, just use a little chip clip to clip it and hold it. Give your arms a rest. I have to say you guys are doing a really good job because it is really hard to learn how to make lei online. If I had to learn how to make a lei online, I don't know if I would be able to do it. But you guys are doing a superb job. I wish I could be there to help you in person, but maybe one day. Maybe one day soon, hopefully. I love the silence. It means everyone's busy bees. To all the mamas out there, hope you folks have a wonderful Mama's Day.
So we have a question from Marion. Hi, Marion. So the bottom of your tea leaf diamond is just incorporated into the base. Is that correct?
Yes, Marion, it's just incorporated into the base. And as you keep wrapping and you keep going lower and lower on your base, it's gonna just wrap over it. So all of this, for example, like I'll show you what I have in my hand, like all of this is gonna be wrapped over. All this part is gonna be wrapped over. And it's gonna, you know, look like that in the back. So yeah, so don't worry about it sticking out on the bottom or anything like that, because you're gonna wrap over all those pieces. So where are you folks going tonight with all these beautiful leis that you're making? Or hopefully it's for Mother's Day.
Well, Amber, I'm going to be wearing mine, and I know so is Julia.
Nice. For tonight, it's Forest Friday.
For tonight, it's Forest Friday, a conversation about the forest. Here, I'll pop up. I'll do a screen share.
Mm-hmm.
So Julia, we were asked where we were going to wear our lei tonight. So
yes, absolutely.
Yes, we will be wearing it on a virtual conversation about the forest. Can you guys see that screen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Julia, you want to talk a little bit about it?
Sure, yeah. So we are going to do a virtual event today at 4 p.m. It's about the forest. We call it Forest Fridays, and it's our third event. Actually, it's the third time we are doing this. And so what we are doing is we are going to have a conversation with 3 panelists. Actually, we're going to have Kumu Kahea Hamakua and Kumu Lena Ala Pavao Hadin. And then also Natalia, what's her last name, Kim?
Tangelin.
Tangelin from the Kauai Invasive Species Committee. And we're gonna talk about the question, how do you connect with the forest? And I mean, obviously, this is a way, making leis, this is a way to connect with the forest. And so they will all share how they connect to the forest. And we are very excited because we think it's going to be a really great evening listening to these 3 with all the knowledge they have. And yeah, we look forward to having them, and also maybe all of you. So you can join on Zoom. There's a link that will be sent out if you register. You have to send an email to Kim at safeohia@hawaii.edu to get that link.
I can also drop the link into the chat real quick for us.
Oh yeah, that's probably easier.
Yeah.
And then if you don't want to be on Zoom again, you can also watch on the Facebook Live of Kauai Invasive Species Committee or the Kauai Forest Bird Recovery Project. So we would love to see you all again later at 4 p.m.
All right, folks. So I am about done with my kupe'e. I'm at that length that I'm almost finished. So I was going to show you folks how to finish it off, how to tie that end of it. Okay. So what you want to do, you're going to have your piece, however long it is. You kind of want it to be at least 6 to 8 inches to tie it off. And what you're going to do is you're going to, let's see if I can do it this way. So what you're going to do is you're going to form a loop. So you're going to do this. You're going to form a loop in your hand and you're going to go back underneath. You're going to go back underneath your lei like this. So one end is sticking out here and one end is a loop here. And you're going to tie that loop to pretend that loop is just one piece. You're not going to go through the loop. You're just going to use that as like a tying string and you're going to tie it shut. Okay. So now on one end you have, and from the top you have that 6 to 8 inches that you left, and on the bottom you have your end in which you can cut. So I'm going to cut that piece off, another 6 to 8 inches. And that way you are left with something that looks like this. This is going to be the back part. And you can either put it on your wrist like that, or I'm going to put it in my hair. So you can either put it on your wrist and tie it, or you can put it in your hair like this and tie it.
Let me remove the spotlight and spotlight your other camera now. There we go. And I was just checking the chat and Lauren is making her lei today for a friend who is graduating and will be taking her graduation photos tomorrow.
Oh, pretty, Lauren. Oh, that's so nice of you.
That looks great, Amber.
Mm-hmm.
You're just tying it around your bun?
Yes, I'm just tying it around my bun. There we go. So mine's I made for my hair. I like to do it because it's faster. It's faster than doing a full one. And it's really easy to do, you know, just a short one. So sometimes I like to just do many of these for all of my friends. And, you know, we all have matching ones when we have dinner parties or something. Or we do dinner parties where if I want to do a longer one, then I'll have them make their own. Then we can all make them together. So with that, before everybody departs, we would like to see pictures of everybody and how they did. So we want to get some pictures of all of you. So let's change my view here. There we go. We want to see how far, nice, Debbie. There you go. Very pretty.
Yeah, so hold your lei up however you would like it so we can see it. And then, oh, I need to remove my digital virtual lei on my head. Video filter, none.
Nice, Elizabeth. Oh, Lauren, that's so pretty. Oh my goodness, is that baby's birth? Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh, Romel. Oh, Mana, look at that. Beautiful. Okay, are we gonna take a picture?
Yes.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, picture time. Fantastic.
Hey, everyone.
Ooh, Lauren, that's beautiful. You've got baby's breath in there.
Baby's breath. That's so pretty.
Yes.
So
See, another one.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. You can do anything. You can do with any type of flowers, or Marion, that's beautiful with the purple, with those purple blue flowers. Those are beautiful.
Ooh, that looks like hydrangea. Is that?
Hydrangea. The color of it. That's pretty. All right, folks. Before we head out, do you folks have any last questions for us? With that, what we're going to do with this recording is we're going to record it. We're going to put it online, and we're going to send it to you folks so you folks can watch it again. And that way you folks can, in case you want to make a lay again and you need a little bit of help, or you need, just to figure out how to start it or how to end it or something like that, you can watch this video. So we're going to send you the video. We're going to also send you a link to a survey. If you folks can please take that survey, that would help us better our workshops in the future. With this other one with my hands, with the camera with my hands, that's a new thing that came out of another workshop. People were like, it's hard to see it when we're doing it like this on Zoom. So why don't you have another camera? So, we're learning as we're going along with the virtual world. So any input you have would really help. So we're going to send all of you folks out with that. We hope you folks enjoyed it. Please teach the art of it to everyone. Yes.
I wanted to see, Mana was holding hers up, and I think she may have used fabric. Is that correct?
Oh, wow. Our fabric.
What is your material there? You're like,
you can go unmute, Mana, and
Yeah,
she's trying.
this is a paper towel.
oh, paper towel.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, that is the extreme of creativity right there, everybody. So there are no more complaints that it's winter or something isn't blooming or growing in your garden or yard. Oh, that is beautiful.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Yes, Romel, thank you so much. Now I can make one for your daughter. I am very happy that you can. Now you don't now you folks never have to buy another lei again. You guys can make your own leis, and you can go and pick plants from any.
They can make, next Saturday or next Friday, you can make more lei with us, and then on the 28th too. So feel free to come back, try new things, try paper towels, try fabric. Very creative. I love it.
Yes. Well, thank you folks so much. We really enjoyed it today, and we hope you folks learned something new.